It's French, and it means to provide care and shelter for travelers. Now, what other word industry comes from the root word hospice? Hospital. Hospital, excellent, right. Same thing, right? Provide care and shelter for usually sick travelers or people who have ailments, okay? So that's what we talk, where the word comes from. Now, talked about the pineapple, right? Symbol of welcome, friendship, hospitality, and so forth. Know that. Let's talk about the characteristics of hospitality, or the hospitality industry. Again, pineapple, know that. Here's something interesting you may or may not know. It's the largest and fastest growing industry in the world. Say that again, it's the largest and fastest growing industry in the world. So you say, okay, I can see that. So you say, can't see that, right? What about the computer industry? Or, everyone's talking about the healthcare industry. Well, if you look at all the areas that hospitality management encompasses, that includes tourism, that includes things like airlines, that includes restaurants. You start to see the scope of the industry and how truly large it is, how many people are employed by it, and how it's continuing to grow. And when we talk about the growth of it, I want to give you an example that puts it into perspective. Okay? My father, one generation away from me, and probably 2 generations from you, was a young man who grew up in West Virginia. And my father never ate at a restaurant other than like, a drugstore counter until he was 18 years of age. Every meal he consumed was either at his house or a family friend's house or a relative's house. Okay? Is there anybody in this room that has not eaten at a restaurant within the last week? It's a way of life for us now. Whereas if you were to go back 60, 70 years ago, it was very, very uncommon for you to eat at a restaurant. It was usually a big deal. Ask your grandparents or your great-grandparents, hey, how often did you eat out back in, the 30s and the 40s? And the answer is almost never. It was a special occasion. Now, it is a way of life for us. So the growth of restaurants from the 40s, 50s to today has been phenomenal. Exponential, I would even use the word. Okay? How many choices, if we wanted to go eat at a restaurant here within walking distance, how many choices do we have? A lot. Probably hundreds of dining options. If you were to go back in time, again, there was usually 1 or 2 places in a small town, and it was usually kind of a diner or a roadhouse, and it was probably not all of that elegant. The food was probably questionable. So do you understand about the growth of restaurants? Okay. Another example. My father never stayed in a hotel. He stayed in a hotel once when he was 16 and his basketball team played for the state championship. That was the thrill of his life, is he got to stay at a hotel. So he stayed in a hotel once until he was 18 years of age. Again, is there anybody that hasn't stayed in a hotel within the last year? Yeah, okay. But probably you will soon, or it's a way of life for us. We travel now without even really thinking about it. hotels are just the way we do things now, okay? Again, if you ask your grandparents or your great-grandparents, hey, how often did you stay at a hotel? Never. We never stayed at a hotel. Most people basically lived in this small area. Maybe, you know, I've seen some studies that said basically a 3-mile radius. Nobody ever left it. You worked, you lived, you played all within that 3-mile radius. And now we're a very mobile society. Do you agree with that? Airlines. Anybody not been on an airline in the last year? Okay. A couple of you. Again, the industry almost did not exist, and we're going to go over the facts. If you go back 60, 70 years ago, it existed, but it was very small. I just traveled this weekend, and there were millions of people traveling on one day. So do you understand now when I say it's the largest and fastest growing industry out there? Are you convinced of that now? Do you see that? And so is that, if you're a hospitality management major, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
It's a great thing. Why?
It means money.
Jobs, money, absolutely. You will have plenty of opportunities. If you're a hospitality management major and you want to go into hotels, or you want to go into airlines, or you want to go into restaurants, there's not just a couple jobs out there. There are thousands of jobs out there that are waiting to hire you, okay? And that's a great thing. My son, he likes the computer industry, and he's in applied mathematics, and we were talking because he's getting ready to graduate. I said, well, what do you think about the computer industry? He says, I'd be a fool to go into it. I said, well, why? He says, computers are building computers now. And so, the job prospect for someone going into computer science is probably, even if nothing else, going into decline, simply because the computer industry is so automated. The job prospects, they're not bad. It's just not the potential that the hospitality industry is growing at, right? Do you think the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, is going to shrink anytime soon? They keep opening hotels. They keep opening them. Why? Because people keep staying in them.